Fellow citizens and residents, it is my pleasure to greet you at the start of the new year and extend my personal best wishes and those of my government to each and every one of you. We are in the midst of a most exciting carnival season, during which we have continued to be enthralled by the outstanding talents of our many performing artists. I am therefore pleased to commend on your behalf the winners of the various carnival competitions. And I am certain that over the next few days, the carnival celebrations will continue to be a showpiece of culture, color, and creativity that would delight the senses and warm the hearts of our various people. However, we must pause briefly to look beyond the carnival celebrations and make plans for the new year and for the new decade that begins today. I therefore invite you to join me in looking to the future with a view towards charting a course that would take us beyond the manifold challenges of the current global economic climate to a new society that will even more fully address the manifold needs and aspirations of our people and provide a haven of hope and happiness for every proud Kittian and Nevisian. We have just brought down the curtains on one of the most tumultuous years in modern economic history. Asset prices plummeted throughout the world as capital markets gyrated unnervingly and wiped away much wealth that investors across the globe had accumulated over many decades. A number of financial scandals were exposed to the dismay of investors who discovered that they had been duped by unscrupulous individuals and entities and that their nest eggs were illusory. Economic activity shrank in countries all over the face of the globe, and workers, they were laid off in hundreds of thousands as enterprises exerted every effort, quite often unsuccessfully, to stay afloat. Indeed, even the mighty multinational enterprises were forced to reach out for help from their governments or suffer financial collapse. Governments throughout the world responded by loosening monetary policy and introducing fiscal stimulus packages of unprecedented magnitudes. But although growth has returned in a number of countries, the situation is fragile, the situation remains uncertain, and the collateral damage has been heavy. In particular, the unemployment in the European Union averages some 9%, while in the United States of America, it has doubled since the start of the crisis to reach over 10%. In developing countries, many persons have been thrust below the poverty line, and the advance towards the attainment of the new Millennium Development Goals has been thwarted. This is the global economic situation that we must face as we enter a new decade. Hence, our immediate priority must be the continued implementation of our program aimed at maintaining financial and economic stability. Of course, the Christmas bonuses, including public sector double salary or double bubble as they call it, paid to our workers, injected new life into our economy and brought relief to our workers and of the many retailers who benefited from increased sales. However, we must continue the implementation of the successful YES program, the Youth Empowerment Through Skills program, that not only boosted growth and employment, but has taken many of our young people from the streets and has provided them a range of skills that will enhance their capacity to provide services and earn income over the long term. We must also continue to collaborate with the other governments of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, through the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB, and the upcoming OECS Economic Union, in order to implement the 8-point stabilization, growth, and development program. We shall continue to collaborate further to tighten the regulation of our financial system to ensure that our investors and depositors are afforded greater protection and that unsavory situations such as the British American insurance company fiasco would have virtually no chance of recurring in St. Kitts and Nevis or any other OECS country. But even as we focus on issues relating to the short-term stability and the impact of the global financial crisis, we must ensure that our long-term competitiveness and capacity for sustainable growth are not in any way compromised. We must therefore continue to invest heavily in the infrastructure that supports economic activity. And so in this regard, we are pleased that the West Bastia Bypass Road, which was recently completed, will contribute to national productivity by reducing traffic congestion in the Bastia area and by giving our people and enterprises enhanced access to the air, seaport, and to the undeveloped lands in Olives, Dewars, and Shadwell areas. We will also seek to boost our capacity to welcome more tourists to our shores by building a new cruise pier at Port Zante as part of the continued redevelopment of the Bastia waterfront through the Burlington Development Project. In a few short years, we have carried the number of cruise passenger arrivals from under 200,000 to near 500,000, and we intend within the next 2 to 3 years to increase this number to over 1 million by building a new cruise ship pier and investing even more heavily in marketing and product development. Of course, stayover visitors will continue to be our main focus. We are therefore pleased that our efforts to improve airlift are bearing fruit and that a number of the major airlines, including Delta and British Airways, are expanding their services to St. Kitts and Nevis. We will continue to beautify our federation, including the major tourist areas, and we will implement a project to rehabilitate and resurface the Sir Kennedy Simmons Highway and to improve the safety of passengers traveling on this highway by securing the hillsides through slope stabilization aimed at minimizing the likelihood of rockfall or landslides. In the years ahead, community tourism will occupy a place of increasing importance within the industry, since the purpose of tourism is not merely to welcome visitors, but also to enhance the socio-economic prospects of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Our aim is to ensure that more tourism-related activities take place in all our communities and help to re-energize community life, especially in those villages that were mostly affected by the closure of the sugar industry.